Hey there, this is Jack here, Keller Williams Realty, and I am awesome to have with me today Mr. Brett Ward, Fivestar Escrow. Thank you so much for coming on.
Great to be here, Jack. Appreciate it very
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, me too. Well, the reason I wanted to drag you on, the reason I was so excited to share with everybody is, first off, Fivestar Escrow is escrow we work with for quite some time now, and I can just tell you, I want to thank you, first off, for putting together and assembling a team of fantastic people. I've had such a great experience working with them, and the collaboration between the teams has been amazing. And it's not an accident that these things happen. And so, being a guy with teams and systems and things like that, I was hoping to pick your brain today a little bit about your systems, your teams, and how that's kind of developed over time. And so, first off, how long has Fivestar Escrow been in
I think
operation?
we're about to turn 11 right
Yeah.
now. So we made it past the a decade, which I'm very proud of. When you take a look at the average longevity of small medium-sized businesses,
Right.
so just surviving is an accomplishment in and of itself, and it's been quite
Yeah.
a journey.
Well, and over that time, you have the normal things in business that happen. So you've got turnover, people coming and going. You've got business cycles hitting you and everything. And
We're in the middle of one of them right now, aren't we?
Yeah, it feels that way, right?
Yep.
But business still goes on, and so do you have any philosophies around business on how you come together and assemble a team, or what is your when you're trying to put together a constructive team, what kind of things are you looking for in your team members?
Well, it almost sounds trite to say that it's all about the people, but it's truly all about the people. If I look back at the history that we've had in Fivestar, and I'm not ashamed to say that in the early days, we now refer to ourselves as 2.5 Star Escrow, because when you're starting out, you're looking for a very specialized talent, and when you're brand new in any business, that specialized talent is typically very happy where they are, and they don't want to risk going to an unknown. And so we had to fight and kick and claw, and it took us a few years before we were able to start to attract the right kind of people. And then from there, it's really the alignment of philosophies, because we're so focused on the customer experience, which means we need to have the internal culture that has that same belief system that, they're there to serve. And to be able to find enough of those people and get them working in concert is really the challenge. And so, it took us a few years for us to really assemble what we consider to be a world-class team in this space.
Yeah. And I guess I would be remiss to not mention a few by names. Heather Bays has been awesome. Eddie's been amazing to work with, which I think he's the escrow manager.
Yep.
And then, Brianna Harris, which is the escrow officer I've worked most frequently with, and then Charlie, our assistant, as well. It just the cohesiveness of the team working together has been amazing. So, kudos to them.
No, and
hopefully they get to watch this.
I really appreciate you mentioning them by name, because they've done a lot. And Heather is actually a partner in the company, and she deserves a ton of the credit for really being able to help assemble and then manage this pool of escrow talent, because it really is that. And it's the combination of that client first philosophy, combined with the work ethic and the dedication.
Yeah.
Because everybody's got the good lip service, but it's when I'm walking out of the office, and I've walked out of the office sometimes at 7:30 at night, and seen them still at their desks, because they are that committed to being able to get the job done for their clients. We're dealing with deadlines here, and they want to make sure that they don't disappoint.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like you're staring at them, making them sit at their desk either. That's the beauty of when you get good people who actually care, have that, that inner feeling that they just need to do the right thing.
I call that personal standards in our company.
Mm-hmm.
And long ago, I stopped trying to push my standards on other people, because people typically come equipped with their own standards, their own work ethic, their own belief system. And then I had to set my ego aside and say, you're not going to change people. So then I became focused on finding the right people. And that's really what made all the difference. When I don't have to ask somebody to stay until that time. They do that because they want to, because that's the standard they hold themselves to. And we've been fortunate enough to be able to finally assemble a group like that.
Yeah. Well, and I guess it comes down to who you work with matters. They bring their own set of personal experiences. They bring their own, life history that develops them to the way that they are when you get to arrive and fortunately get to work with them, right? And I've had that some with our team too, just finding, we've got a couple team players, and some of them you start working with them and they develop. Some of them come with a whole lot of talent, but you've assembled a great team. I know that our team has had it's really unique, and I know we've talked before about how it's difficult between when you're organizing two sets of teams, like your team working with our team, for example,
Right.
and it's always kind of fuzzy whose roles are where in between. When you have a client that needs to be kept happy, there's paperwork needs to be pushed back and forth, or communications that's need to take place. And I've always appreciated how aggressive your team has been in communicating, and it's so nice to get from a team perspective to have two teams that cohesively work together. And I just that's been an amazing experience.
Yeah, our philosophy is that generally speaking, most of your clients, those who are buying and selling residential real estate properties, do not know where your services stop and ours start, and vice versa. So we have to look at ourselves as an extension of your client's experience with you.
Right.
And if they're not happy with us, there's a good chance they're not going to be happy with you, which means you're not going to be happy with us.
Right.
So the whole team aspect of it is, internally, obviously, that's something that we promote, and it's really mandatory if we're going to be able to scale our businesses and handle the volume that we do. But it's just as important that we're able to align with your team, because you've got transaction coordinators and internal administrative staff, and there are a lot of moving parts to a transaction, as you well know. And then we've got the title component, the title teams that we're working with. So as much as we're focused on internal team chemistry, we're flexible enough to be able to adapt and make sure that we can mesh with teams, because every team is different. We can only control so much of what we do internally, but we certainly can't control what your team does internally. And so there's a matter of being able to have some empathy and some flexibility, and then having the systems and processes in place that allow technology to kind of close some of those gaps. And I know that you're a big tech guy and a big systems and process guy, and so fortunately your team is one of the easier ones because of that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. It's no mystery why it is. Like in a real estate, it's, back that up a second. It's not the client's job to really understand the cohesiveness between these groups, right? It is our job collectively as the team supporting them to kind of put this process together. And it's no mystery why in the real estate contract, there's a section for us to negotiate in the contract, whether we're representing the seller or the buyer, to fight for our escrow company. And that's one of the reasons we fight for it, because it has such a lasting impact on the client experience. When things go wrong, and let's face it, things go wrong. I mean, it wasn't just 2-3 months ago. I was hashing through with Heather and Brianna and Eddie a 12-page long legal contract on an early deposit release of $1.75 million that was getting released before the close of escrow. This stuff is really hairy. I mean, this is a lot of money at stake, and we didn't know we were going to get into all that at the beginning, and for sure Eddie and Heather didn't have any idea either. So,
well, there's liability all over the place, and you're dealing with that kind of money. To be able to have the confidence that you're working with a group that is accomplished enough to be able to help navigate through that, because,
and to have all the eyeballs, to have the right people making the right decisions. Right. Making sure all the dots are, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, and protecting the clients, and make sure everybody's interests are clear. Most importantly, buyer and seller, everybody's cohesive and understands what they're doing. It's just so important when you get in the middle of these things, when you don't understand how complex they have the ability to get. But the truth is, every real estate transaction can get really complex, and having the right teams in the right place is paramount, in my opinion. And thank you for that.
You know what? And I want to thank you for the opportunity to sit here with you today and to work with a group of fine people that you've assembled as well. And that really, I mean, we are all doing this for your clients. Yeah. Your clients are our clients by extension, but it's the same goal. And one of the things that I think I'm proudest of is, we have a little link at the bottom of every escrow team member's signature, that gives the opportunity for the real estate agents and their clients to provide unsolicited feedback. And I would say we get at least half or more of those come from the buyers and sellers on a transaction, that they appreciated the work that we put in. And that goes, 100% to the escrow team and the work that they do. And it's great to be able to have a partnership like we do, because we've all got the same goals, which is to get your clients either out of or into their homes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the opportunity to do that with you.
Well, thanks again for letting me introduce you. Hopefully all my clients get the opportunity to view this, and they get the opportunity to work with you as well.
I would like nothing more. Thanks, Jack.
I appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks so much,
appreciate
Brett.
it.